Stepney the Bluebell engine was visiting the island of Sodor again. Everyone was very pleased to see him again, engines and people alike. It was a fairly short visit this time, and on the last day, the Fat Controller spoke to him.
I was wondering if you'd like to help Toby and Mavis at Farquhar Quarry today before you leave.
Oh, yes, sir, replied Stepney. That will be a nice change. I don't get to do much shunting on the Bluebell Railway.
Splendid, said the Fat Controller, but you should leave for Vicarstown before dark. It's easy to get lost on that line, and that way you can go easily from Vicarstown back to England tomorrow morning.
We will, replied the driver. Stepney soon arrived at the quarry, and Mavis and Toby were glad to see him.
We've got a much larger load than usual, so I can't tell you how pleased we are for you to help us.
My pleasure, replied Stepney. Are these all the trucks? Only some of them, said Mavis. There's masses more in the sidings.
Goodness gracious, said Stepney. Ah, well, you know what they say, the more the merrier.
Stepney helped shunt the trucks into place, and then he took them down to the top station where Thomas and Percy would be waiting to collect them. He got quite dusty, but that only meant he was working hard. Mavis and Toby were impressed. Later that day, the quarry foreman spoke to his driver. If you're heading down to Vicarstown tonight, I was wondering if you wanted to take the night goods train to the building site. It's on the way there.
I suppose so, said Stepney's driver. My pleasure.
But he and his crew had forgotten about asking the Fat Controller. It had been a very productive day, and soon night came.
Thanks for helping us, said Toby. And be careful on your way back.
I will, and thank you for a lovely day, replied Stepney.
There's supposed to be mist tonight, and the line can be a bit spooky, added Mavis.
Thank you for the warning.
Stepney delivered the trucks of stone at the building site on time, and then set off for his last stop before home tomorrow morning. Mavis was right about the mist. Wow, everything does look spooky, remarked Stepney. Then the trouble began. Stepney didn't realize that the points had been set in the wrong direction.
Home, here we come!
But he was no longer on the main line. By the time he realized this, he was in an unknown area.
I think we're lost, said the driver. It's best we stop here until the fog clears.
So they did.
What are those strange sounds? Wondered Stepney.
Then the fog slowly lifted.
Oh no! We're in a scrapyard!
The driver and fireman decided to go for help, and Stepney was all alone. But not for long. 2 diesels approached.
Hello,
grunted one.
And what have we got here? I know who this is, Harry,
growled another.
It's that famous yellow engine that was one of the first to be saved from scrap on the mainland. Yes, Bert, replied the other. He escaped from scrap, didn't you, eh?
I didn't escape. I was preserved. Now please leave me alone. Arry and Bert laughed.
Preserved? Who would want to preserve an ancient relic like you? Let's take him where he belongs. The smelter shed.
The diesels laughed maniacally and buffered up to Stepney. They then made their way to the smelter shed.
What are you doing? Stop! This engine's not for scrapping!
Yelled Stepney.
We'll see if the grabber thinks the same way,
chuckled Arry. They entered the smelter's shed, and above Stepney was a huge claw.
Bye-bye, Stepney,
the diesels laughed, but they were suddenly interrupted by a loud bellow.
What are you doing? Stop at once!
There stood the Fat Controller, who looked horrified, and Stepney's crew.
Thank goodness,
gasped Stepney. I am glad to see you.
Harry, Bert, what is the meaning of this?
Boomed the Fat Controller. Arry and Bert whimpered.
We were just playing a joke. We weren't really gonna scrap him. I should think not,
thundered the Fat Controller.
This is more than just a joke. This is cruelty. You shall stay in your sheds as punishment.
Arry and Bert trailed sadly away. The Fat Controller then turned to Stepney.
I sincerely apologize for that barbaric behavior. Those are our new ironworks diesels, Arry and Bert. They've been quite troublesome lately, needless to say.
Yes, sir, replied Stepney. But I have learned something.
And what's that?
Said the Fat Controller. I enjoy coming here, but man, there's no place like home.
And that,
replied the Fat Controller,
is exactly where you're going tomorrow. Blue bells forever,
chanted Stepney.